Welcome to Parasite Infection Detection Agency. If you are a fan of horrific dystopian futures and unique, melancholic art styles, delivered with a rich, morally conflicting story, then you are in the right place. Enjoy the video. The alarm cuts through the silence, pulling you from your sleep. This routine is embedded so deeply in you that you rise with the siren habitually. At 5 a.m., you pull yourself up from your thin mattress and begin the routine. Your dull room holds a stale silence which you've come to appreciate. A single bulb flickers overhead, casting a dim light. Each morning, this scene awaits you in your familiar dim world. You quickly make your way to the cafeteria. Once there, you are presented with a slice of bread and a small cup of broth, cooled to a colorless murk. You then take your assigned seat in the dining hall. Nobody speaks. Nobody is allowed to. Either way, the silent company of other unfortunate souls brings you comfort. You sip your soup. Even with your undistinguished palate, you know it isn't great. Regardless, you finish it quickly and return to your room. Once you've changed into a clean uniform, you head out for the day. Super like a prison. Like we're trapped in some, I know the intro said dystopian landscape, right? But this is definitely giving that vibe for sure. You gather yourself and walk towards the elevator at the end of the hall. You've heard that this building used to be something else. An office, maybe? A factory for all busy hands? It's hard to imagine. Now, it's where people like you have come to find work. It's far from a glamorous career, but it keeps you alive. You quite literally could not survive without it. So you reluctantly accept the sacrifices that come with the opportunity. The elevator has arrived. You get on and press the button for your floor. B57. Okay, level 57. I don't know what all is going to be significant to this story. We'll do our best to remember these things. You begin your descent into the lower floors and continue to reflect on your role in this facility. Here, you're something between a doctor and an extension of the machine you operate, tasked with detecting parasites and strangers you'll never meet. Each patient brings a new set of symptoms, but the only clues you truly rely on are the sounds, faint yet distant. Each parasitic infection carries its own peculiar hum or whisper beneath the patient's skin. Oh, interesting. So we're going to be getting deep into this parasite detection thing. I like it. Okay. Some sounds are sharper than others, gnawing and burrowing as if they're alive in your ears. You've learned to tune in and trained yourself to recognize each twisted, grotesque note. Every day, your fingers hover over the console, poised to listen for that telltale noise, perhaps the rasp of meat mites or the hollow echo of phantomebas. I don't know if those are real. Meat mites sound crazy. I love this art. It's so industrial. Everything we're looking at so far, dystopian for sure, but just such a rugged industrial landscape. I can't even get like an accurate depiction of maybe what time we're in here. Super interesting. Inside, the familiar buzz of machinery fills your senses as you clock in. Another number in a system that counts each of you precisely and methodically. So this is us like actually at the computer. Yeah, such like a steampunk industrial look to it. It's so cool. The sterile lights overhead feel cold, almost accusatory. In your workstation, a narrow booth with a screen and some notes. You breathe in deeply. Another day. The work is steady, maybe thankless, but here you are. Because what else is there? Turn on the machine. Okay. View instructions. Probably a good idea. As a PIDA employee, your job is to scan individual organs of patients for parasitic infections. Each scan produces unique sounds, so listen carefully for specific audio cues referenced in the PIDA documentation. Use these sounds and other symptoms like altered heartbeat or breathing to identify the correct organ of infection. Though remember, these symptoms don't necessarily mean the infection is in those areas. You'll hear the sounds of parasites only when you're scanning the infected organ. These sounds come from the collective noise of millions of parasites. Reference the PIDA parasite documentation to confirm which parasite is present. You may also review audio recordings from previous practitioners' analysis for extra insights. Once confident, choose the infected organ and parasite type to finalize your diagnosis. Between patients, the machine will shut down for an hour of maintenance. You'll be notified about the success of your diagnosis shortly after. 3 incorrect diagnoses in a week will result in immediate termination. Okay, that seems simple enough. Proceed, get me in there. Ooh, and it's running on dial-up, baby. Here we go. You press the power switch and the machine hums to life, casting a pale, rhythmic glow across the console. This is the heart of your work, an immense labyrinth device stretching deep into the walls, swallowing every sound and separating you entirely from the patients who pass through it. You've never seen their faces, nor have they seen yours. So the disconnect is there. We are like an anonymous entity dealing with these people. I don't know if that makes it, I guess like for you as a practitioner, makes it better, right? To be kind of disconnected. You take the human element out of it. But in this kind of environment, it makes it feel even more dystopian and weird. The machine is a world in itself, silent and unyielding. There's a small gap just beneath it, though not quite big enough to see through, but just wide enough to remind you that it isn't airtight. Even if a sound could slip through, the machine's own thundering hum would drown it out, leaving you with only faint hints of the world beyond. The console chimes with a new alert. Patient 3172, ready for examination. Somewhere within the machine's depths, the patient is guided into position, faceless, nameless. They'll become a pattern of organs and data points, every scan its own quiet mystery waiting to be uncovered. You pause, hands poised over the console, preparing yourself to identify whatever the machine reveals. Another patient, another 14-hour stretch of isolation, surrounded only by the faint lights and cold recordings of infection, ready to catalog whatever lies within the body's depths. Dude, the story is so good. I feel like I am here right now. Rows of buttons and switches blink in cold precision, each aligned to a different diagnostic mode. The screen in front of you glows as the system readies itself to isolate and magnify each part of the body in turn. Brain mode pulses in a dim blue light, mapping cerebral pathways. The stomach view, grainy and textured, reveals potential hiding places for intruders. You've memorized each mode's sequence, knowing exactly when to switch from one to the next. If a moment of uncertainty arises, the PIDA documentation sits nearby, a dense catalog of parasites, symptoms, and sounds, every detail meticulously recorded in the same mechanical precision that defines your work. Are you ready to start? Yes, I'm so ready to start. I have been totally immersed. I know it all. I am here. I see everything. Get me in there. Let's find these parasites. I'm not ready. Oh, God. Okay. Whew. Examine the patient and scan their different organs for the strange signs and sounds of parasitic infection. Consult the parasite guide before diagnosis. Okay, so we can do the scans without doing... Let's just read really first. Okay, so diagnosis is down here. This is after we know what we're doing. Review the patient. Let's do that. Let's see what that is. Is this like a bio?
Ooh. 4372. Subject reports severe stab and chest pain, especially during movement or deep breaths, with persistent fatigue. Skin appears cowed with signs of anemia. An unusual internal sensation, described as something gnawing from within, is noted. Low blood pressure and irregular heart sounds suggest advanced internal degradation. Immediate intervention is advised. Patient ID
Okay,
4372.
it loops. Severe internal degradation. Chest pains, stabbing when he moves, I believe they said. Let's do some scans. Oh, there's so much. Okay, here we go. Scan the patient's organs and listen for abnormalities. Blood. Ooh, it's so windy in there. Now, the hard thing that we're going to have to figure out here is what is normal. Like, everything does have a sound. Like, when you go to the doctor and they put that little cold-ass metal disc on you, everything that your body does has a noise. But I'm no professional. I don't know what I'm listening to. This sounds creepy as hell. Is this what blood sounds like? There's nothing crazy, right? That sounds pretty normal. I'm going to say that sounds normal. Stomach. I'm also going to say that sounds normal. Like, you have digestive noise, right? Doesn't sound anything crazy. Now, it did, I do want to mention in the patient review thing, it did say like a gnawing sound, right? So maybe there's something specifically that ties to that we're listening to here. All right, can you take a deep breath in for me, please? Hold. And exhale. Very good. Excellent. Very normal. Nothing in your lungs. I'm going to say those look great. Those look super healthy. Super, super healthy. Heart. That's not normal. That's super not normal. Okay, remember the heart. Our heart has some weird something. Weird something something. What about the eyes? Let me look at you. What are we tuning a television from the 80s? There's no way your eyeballs are supposed to sound like that. Brain. Give me brain. Oh no, now we're tuning the television. That's all you got up there? TV static? I mean, it doesn't sound crazy though. I don't hear anything really weird. Okay, so the heart is weird and the eyes. Sounds like something's chewing at his eyeballs. And the heart has some weird noise to it. So let's read the documentation here. All right, so how does this work? Corkworms. Ah, okay, I see. Go back for now. Okay, so each of these is going to be a different... Next page! Okay, it's only 2 pages. Whew. Each page is going to have a different parasite, and we click on them to get a bio and what they sound like. So... let's just start at the top here and see what we get. Sound, a distorted rhythmic exhalation produced by air escaping through the perforations created in the lungs. So that's not us. Lore, initially exclusive to cadavers, corkworms inexplicably began infecting living hosts, often misjudged as molded. Huh. Symptoms, persistent cough. Nope. All right, so we don't have any of that. Biode slugs. What about this guy? Ooh, wet squelching. Yeah, definitely squelching. Scans detect slithering within organs. I didn't hear anything like that. Symptoms, indigestion, nausea, fatigue, variable appetite. I don't think we have any of that. Lematodes. What we got here? Muffled buzzing, intermittent scurrying. Symptoms, uncontrollable hunger, internal itching, irritability, and erratic behavior. I don't think we have any of that. Crete flukes. What do you got? Faint, layered squeaks and whispers. Oh my God. The nightmare parasite. Hallucinations, persistent anxiety, full body ache, bleeding from unexpected sights. No, I don't think it's anything on the first page. Phytozoa. Oh my God, what in the eldritch horror is this? Fatigue, immune suppression, persistent cough, chest tightness, and a slowed heart rate. Heart rate didn't sound slow. But that is a chest thing, so we'll remember the phytozoa. Sporadic electrical buzzing and glitch-like interference. We definitely didn't have that. Impaired motor control. Nope, that's not us. Membrane leech. A hollow, unsettling resonance, interrupted by sharp, spiky stabs as the leech's suction cups bite forcefully into its host. Anemia. Anemia. We did have that. I can kind of hear that from our guy, I think, actually. This is my go-to one right now. Membrane leech. Phantomoeba. Pallor, weight loss, extreme fatigue, and confusion. That's not us. Layered, muffled gasps resembling distant wails. Page 2 is crazy. Page 2 is nothing but nightmare fuel. Molded. What is this? An unmistakable, haunting cry, ominously referred to as the call of death. No, we didn't hear that. I think it's membrane leech. Dude, this is going to be tough. Let's go back here. Scans. What was weird? His eyes, right? That doesn't sound like it. What else was weird? His heart? Is that it? Or is that just the valves of the heart opening? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Because the suction cups, they talked about the suction cups of his little thingies. I'm saying heart suction cup guy. Heart suction cup guy. Let's see. Yes, I'm ready. His heart has the membrane leech. That was it, right? The machine whirs down, clicking and hissing as it releases the patient. Its parts realigning and cooling in preparation for the next examination. You lean back, hands slipping from the controls as you wait through the familiar maintenance lull. Your eyes drifting over the soft flicker of the console's standby light. Silence fills the room once more, settling in thickly until it's broken by a faint, almost inaudible noise that slips through the machine's dense walls. You pause, ears straining as you pick up on it, a muffled, desperate screech that trails off into silence as quickly as it appeared. Did we kill him? Did we kill him? The console lights up with a notification. Diagnosis unsuccessful. Patient outcome deceased. Just below, another message blinks in steady, clinical precision. 3 failures will result in immediate termination. The reminder is as cold as the machine, yet it lingers in your mind as you brace for the next patient. Oh no. Oh, I was not 100% confident, but I felt good about that. The silence of the room seems to grow heavier as the machine's maintenance light flashes, indicating that it's almost ready for its next use. A new patient will arrive soon, and with them, another chance. You place your hands back on the console, waiting for the telltale chime. Oh my god. All right. What do you got, buddy?
ID 5829. Persistent, hollow wheezing observed with rhythmic exhalations akin to air passing through ruptured tissues.
Oh, I got it.
Reports a sensation of tightness in the chest, paired with occasional lightheadedness and confusion. Oxygen levels are noticeably reduced, with symptoms worsening at night, causing frequent episodes of breathlessness and panic.
Okay, I got this one. This is it's this guy. We got to do the scans to confirm, but was it the corkworms? Yeah, he said something about air escaping. Okay, let's go back. Let's do our scans here. Let's just start at the bottom. It's the same. That's the same as the last guy, so it wasn't the blood. That's good. We can also use this as a chance to confirm where we went wrong. Stomach. See? He's just hungry. That's fine. Yeah, just hungry. Okay, lungs. Here we go. Yes, perfect. That matches up perfect with the other thing. Sounds like somebody popped a blow-up pool floaty in your lungs. Okay, but this is conclusive. I was very unsure about the last one. So let's use this as an opportunity actually to see, does his heart sound the same way? It doesn't have the thing. The tick. So we were right. It was heart. Maybe I selected the wrong thing. Static behind the eyeballs. It seems to be normal. Old static balls. Okay, brain. And tuning an old television set. Okay, so yeah, this one's super conclusive. Lungs, corkworm, corkscrew, cork driver, whatever. Diagnose. Yes, I'm ready. Submit the first part of your diagnosis. The physical location of the infestation is in the lungs, and he's got corkworms, baby. The machine slowly powers down, metal creaking as it cools. You pull your hands from the console, resting them as the maintenance cycle begins. Each part hums and realigns, resetting for the next patient, leaving you in a sterile, quiet room. You sit back, watching the console's soft glow as you wait, listening to the subtle clicks of the machinery settling. Time stretches, each second marked only by the machine's periodic status lights blinking their endless rhythm. The screen updates. Diagnosis confirmed. Treatment successful. We did it. Nice. Okay. I kind of thought for a second there I was going to go 3 for 3. Not going to lie. A quiet satisfaction settles over you as you read the message. Somewhere beyond the machine's walls, the patient will live, free from the parasite that might have destroyed them. Hey man, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. That's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? The notification lingers a moment longer before disappearing into standby mode. The maintenance light flickers off, and the console chimes softly, signaling the next patient's arrival. You reposition your hands on the controls, preparing for the cycle to begin anew. The world building going on in this game is incredible. I have such a vivid image in my mind of where I am right now performing these examinations. Really, really fun. Okay, who are you? What you in for, bub?
Patient ID 6910. Displays erratic motor responses and occasional periods of involuntary gaze fixation. Patient reports
Fixation,
intermittent
motor skills.
static-like sounds within their head,
Static
accompanied
in
by
their head.
fragmented speech and loss of coordination.
Man's got them static
Examination
balls.
reveals unsteady neural activity with apparent interference in normal brain function, causing increasingly erratic behavior.
Erratic behavior, motor skills. Involuntary fixation. I'm leaning towards, what was it? Fatigue, immune suppression, slowed heart rate. Actually, you know, before we do this, it's probably going to be easier. Let's just do our scans first. Let's start at the brain, because he said it's all in his head. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is one of them analog horror nightmares on page number 2 of the PIDA. That is absolutely not great. So there can only be one, right? So do I have a reason to listen to the rest of it? I can only select one parasite at the end, so it has to be one. So brain. And it has to be, let's see, next page. Molded? Wasn't that guy. It was like, was it the Electrionius? Yes, this guy. Electrions only survive in the heads of mammals, manipulating neural pathways to control host actions. Symptoms: impaired motor control, vision disturbances, erratic mental states, and unsteady coordination. Perfect. Buzzing and glitch-like interference. This is absolutely what it is. You got electrons in your brain, buddy. Hate to say it, but I'm gonna diagnose it. Yes. So up in yo brain, you got damn electrons. I'm nervous. I'm nervous here. Nice. Screen updates. Diagnosis confirmed. Treatment successful. A quiet satisfaction settles over you as you read this message. Nice. The patient will live. The final patient of the day has left, and the machine hums as it winds down. Lights dimming one by one as you begin the shutdown process. You let your hands linger over the controls, feeling the cold metal beneath your fingers. The room quiets, the steady thrum of diagnostics fading into an empty silence. This is always the loneliest moment, when the machine finally rests, leaving nothing but the emptiness of the room and the stark reminder of how alone you truly are. You stand, stretching muscles that feel heavy and worn, and make your way to the lift. It creaks softly as it descends. The hallway you step into is illuminated by more flickering fluorescence, with walls that seem to close in just a little tighter every time you pass through. You feel the weight of the day settling in, pressing down on you like a reminder that if the patients go home cured, you remain here, caught in the same cycle. Entering your small room, you sit on the edge of your bed, letting out a slow breath as the day's fatigue catches up to you. The mattress creaks under your weight. It's not comfortable, but it's okay. It's enough. Everything here is just enough to get by and enough to keep you going, but just barely. Your routine is predictable, dull, and unchanging, but it's all you have. You have no place in this world other than here. Just as you settle onto the bed, a coughing fit seizes you, sudden and sharp, rattling in your chest. You clutch at your throat, stifling the sound as best you can, heart pounding at the thought of someone overhearing. Each cough scrapes against your lungs, and it takes a few moments before the fit subsides, leaving you with an ache that lingers, spreading through your chest like a reminder you'd rather ignore. It's phytozoa. You're sure it is. Yet you've tried to bury the truth beneath layers of routine, letting it slip into the background like a bruise you don't press on. The symptoms are unmistakable. The fatigue, the faint prickling in your chest, the cough that won't leave. You've seen this parasite before, diagnosed it countless times, and others. You know it's treatable. If only you could afford it. Each day the problem gnaws at you from the inside out, a fixable problem with no means to fix it. But even now, you can't let go of hope. Although unlikely, you still cling to the hope of saving enough currency credits to afford treatment. As you lay down on the thin mattress, the ache of the day seeps into your bones. Tomorrow will be the same. Another set of patients, another series of diagnoses, another chance to inch closer to survival. The image painted in this game is phenomenal. This crazy dystopian future. It's very like, almost kind of like Papers, Please, right? Where you're faced with like a impossible reality where you're doing so much every day for so little, and you're trying to feed your family and keep your children from getting sick, and you're making sacrifices along the way because you physically can't do enough in a day just to survive. And that's like quite literally what we're going through here in this crazy dystopian future where life is work. Your whole means to exist is solely for the benefit of whatever building and organization that you are a part of. That's it. It is just painting such a grim picture. For now, though, you let your eyes close, thoughts faintly fading into the shadows as you slip into a fitful, restless sleep. Day 2! I kind of thought that was going to be it. Okay, here we go. You wake to a dull ache in your chest and the weight of exhaustion pressing down on you. It's the second morning in a row that breathing feels like pushing against a wall, each inhale catching slightly. You pull yourself up, letting your feet touch the cold floor, feeling the familiar sense of routine settle over you. Some days you wonder what it would be like to live differently, but the thought of freedom unsettles you, an uncharted vastness you don't know if you're prepared to navigate. You set out for the same pitiful meal that awaits you in the cafeteria. As you eat, you let your mind wander, feeling the odd pull between dread and attachment you have for this routine. Your life here is bleak, tightly bound by the rigid routine, the restrictions, the expectations, and yet it's all you know. Freedom feels like a foreign concept, something distant and intimidating. There's fear in the unknown of what might come if you were ever truly untethered from this place. The thought of it stirs something inside you, a flicker of possibility mixed with unease, but the reality is simpler. You're here, for now, and today is another day to get through. By the time you head to the lift, the ache in your chest has sharpened, as if the parasite itself is tugging, digging in, demanding your attention. You try to brush it off, to focus on the familiar thrum of the lift as it descends, to ground yourself in the predictability of the day. The symptoms are worse than yesterday, and you feel the weight of them settle over you, heavier with each step, but you don't let yourself linger on it too long. You can't afford to. For now, you just need to get through the day. You settle in at the console, hands moving over the controls, the glow of the machine wrapping you in a cold, familiar light. It's time to get started. I am so enthralled by this world. All right, buddy. What's going on with you?
Patient ID 1134. Patient presents with a persistent cough, chest tightness, and marked fatigue. They describe a heaviness in breathing and occasional wheezing, particularly with physical exertion. Skin appears pale with a notably slow pulse. Despite worsening symptoms, the patient expresses reluctance to comply with further evaluation, citing an inexplicable feeling of dread. They avoid direct questioning, becoming visibly uneasy when asked about the sensation of breathlessness, which they report intensifies at night.
Maybe like a fear, actually. That's kind of an interesting element. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe that part of it, the fear of what will happen, like when they reach a diagnosis, isn't so much about the parasite, but about the mental state of the patient in this situation. Like, what if when you're diagnosed, you're not saved? Like, they just take you out anyway or something, right? Maybe that's that dread, that uneasiness that he's talking about there. Let's do some scans. Let's see what you got. Let's start at the blood. Normal. Normal. Blood's sounding great, fella. You might make it after all. Stomach? Little hungry? Me too. We all get like that sometimes. Lungs? Oh no, is that the call of death? That wailing, that might be it. What do we have here? Next page, molded. That's it. An unmistakable, haunting cry, ominously referred to as the call of death. A virulent, ancient pathogen reemerged as glacial ice melted. It spreads aggressively through fluids and airborne particles, enveloping internal organs with a fatal mold-like layer. And this is pretty much everything that he had. Yeah, you got, that was lungs, right? It's molded for sure, but was it lungs? Lungs are molded. I am very confident in this diagnosis. I hope what we're doing is saving you. I hope so. I hope we are. Ooh. As you're about to begin, a small slip of paper slips out from under the console. So small and nearly invisible that you almost miss it. You hesitate, glancing around as if someone might be watching, though you know you're alone. The slip sits there, foreign and out of place, a break in the monotony that makes your pulse quicken. You reach for it with tentative fingers, unfolding the note carefully. The message is written in a hurried scrawl, the words sharp and precise. 10,000 credits if you diagnose me with corkworm. Half now, half tomorrow. Please, help me. I'm not ready to die. There's something I have to do before I accept this fate. I'm desperate. Please. This is Papers, Please. Oh my gosh. I thought I was kind of weird for like picking up that vibe, but that's exactly what this is. 10,000 credits. So now we're trying to play with this idea of what's better. Like, do we take the money? Then maybe we can help ourselves. I already have one bad mark though. If I get 3 wrong, I'm out. What do we do? A chill creeps down your spine as you consider the offer. Corkworm is minor, a mild parasite harmless to others, but this patient wasn't sent there for something so innocuous. If they don't actually have corkworm, misdiagnosing them could expose others to something dangerous, putting lives at risk if the true infection spreads unnoticed. And yet, 10,000 credits is no small sum. It's more than you've ever dreamed of having at once. It's just enough to cover the cost of your treatment. The thought of it makes your heart race as you feel the responsibility of something beyond your illness and beyond this stagnant life. You clutch the note tightly, the promise of credits, of a cure, and of a real life hanging in the balance. The urge to accept pulls at you, despite the risks, despite everything you know is at stake. Your mind teeters on the edge, weighing the costs. It's time to decide. I don't know what to do. To be honest with you, like, if I'm going to put myself, I've been pretty immersed in this so far. If I'm going to put myself in this situation, I honestly think I would not be able to lie about this because of the severity of what he has. It'd be one thing if I was lying about one not so bad parasite and covering it up for another, but this is something that could do like a lot of damage in a society. But also, society obviously doesn't care about me. I'm in some sort of crazy dystopian future where I'm nothing but a number to these people. But everyone else is a number too, and I'd be hurting them. Oh, the choices. You know what, buddy? Today's your lucky day. You got corkworms. You got corkworms. Don't you forget it. You got corkworms in your lungs. And that's the story we're sticking to. A small alert pings softly on your personal pocket console. 5,000 credits transferred. The sight sends a strange thrill through you. A significant step towards treatment, towards escaping the shadow of Phytozoa. For a moment, there's even a spark of hope, a feeling that you almost don't recognize, one that seems to lighten the ache in your chest, if only brief. The machine slowly powers down, metal creaking as it cools. You pull your hands from the console. This is the same. Oh, we don't get an answer. I mean, we obviously know that was the wrong one, but it didn't give me a demerit for that one. That was what I was most worried about. Oh, great. All right. Well, we're good then. Review the patient.
Patient ID 4435. Patient reports recurring visual disturbances and describes seeing faint, shadow-like figures at the edges of their vision.
Oh.
Eyes display subtle, involuntary twitch, and hallucinations of shifting shapes are reported to be increasing in frequency. The patient experiences persistent paranoia and heightened anxiety, particularly in low-light conditions.
I got you, buddy. Let daddy work. Here we go. You are going to have something in your eyeballs. Ooh, I was right. I almost missed it. I almost hit the back button. You hear the whispering? Oh my gosh, I'm the best damn parasite examiner there ever was. Now, what is the whispering? I don't remember. It's not Phytozoa. Yeah, that sounds like a damn freight train. Membrane leech? Nope, not that. Phantom amoeba. Maybe? No, that's not it. That's not it. Previous page. Crete flukes. This is it. Faint, layered squeaks and whispers. Crete flukes often target the brain, eyes, and bloodstream. These organisms form intricate colonies, consuming hosts efficiently until total decomposition, at which point they seek a new body, known to cause madness in their host. That checks out. He's seeing a lot of shadow figures. Symptoms: hallucinations, persistent anxiety, full body ache, bleeding from unexpected sights, and a pervasive sense of dread. Yes. That is a Crete fluke. It's a Crete fluke for you. You got Crete flukes in your eyes. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. Yo eyes got them dang dear Crete flukes. Time stretches on. Diagnosis confirmed. Treatment successful. A quiet satisfaction settles over you. It does. It really does settle over me. All right, one more patient. I think it's 3 for the 3 every day, right? All right, what we got here? What you got? What ails you?
9293. Symptoms include extreme fatigue, pallor, and unexplained weight loss. The patient
Everybody
describes an ongoing
is
feeling
so
of dread,
fatigued.
as well as episodes of disorientation.
I don't even need the rest. Pallor. Key word here. That is on one of these. Pallor, weight loss, extreme fatigue, and confusion. That's the only one with pallor in the symptoms. You have what the hell is this thing called? A phantomoeba. Known as specters under the skin, phantomoebas evoke a ghostly presence. Treatment is possible, but arduous. All right. But where? Where do you have said phantomoeba? In the blood? It actually is in the blood. I'm so good at this. I'm the best damn parasite examiner there ever was. You got phantomoebas in the blood. Yo blood got phantomoebas. 100% confidence. Continue. Continue. Treatment successful. Excellent. The last patient shuffles out, and the strain of the day sinks into you, heavy and unshakable. The fluorescent lights cast a harsh glow as you linger for a moment. Tomorrow, it all begins again, but for now, the fatigue clings to you, pressing down like a weight you can't shed. The machine powers down with a final, hollow click. Leaving the room in silence, you exhale slowly, gathering yourself as you step into the elevator, feeling the weight of the day settle over you. The walls close in and the soft hum of the elevator's descent filling the small space as you lean back, eyes unfocused. Today's choice. It looms, twisting inside you. Something you wish you could shed, but it stays. Back in your room, you lie on the thin mattress, staring up at the dark ceiling, letting your thoughts unfurl in the quiet. You don't know if you made the right decision, or if there even was a right decision to make. Survival in this world means wrestling with the choices that carve away at you, that make you question yourself in ways you don't have the strength to answer. In a way, it feels like everything here has been set up to trap you, forcing you to calculate every breath, every moment. And all of it, every moment of desperation, every impossible decision comes down to credits, a currency that holds a tighter grip on your life than any law. Everything costs here, movement, existence, even survival itself. Small fines, silent charges, each one chipping away at you. The life tax is just another formality, a reminder that survival isn't a right, but a transaction. Miss a payment, and it's over. People disappear that way. No questions, no whispers, just gone. You can feel it inside you, that fear, that quiet shame that gnaws at your resolve. Maybe it's from the desperation itself, from wanting to hold on to a life that barely feels like living. You understand why people would beg, bribe, do anything to survive. You know that desperation too well, but knowing doesn't make it easier. If anything, it makes it harder. Every choice feels like a compromise, another piece of yourself given away just to get through another day. And each time, you're left wondering what you'll have left of yourself if you keep doing this, if the life you're clinging to will even be recognizable. Tonight, laying in the dark, you can't shake the feeling that the cost of survival in this world is consuming you bit by bit. And yet, the thought of giving it up, of letting it go, is just as unbearable. The shame, the doubt, they're quiet, lingering shadows you'll carry onto tomorrow. The world building here, I'm probably going to say it 15 times before it's done, is so good. This game is painting such a stark, heavy, deep, dystopian vibe. It is so easy to become entrapped in this like umbrella that it's casting, this shadow that it's casting over us. You wake up with a quickened pulse, your thoughts immediately turning to the promise of credits. Checking your account, you see it. 5,000 credits transferred, the full payment just as promised. You run the numbers in your head, feeling a rush of excitement. By tomorrow, you'll have enough to start treatment. Just one more day. The thought drives you through your morning routine faster than usual. Each step feels lighter, the familiar tightness in your chest softened by the idea of finally being rid of it. You put in the credit transfer request, your heart racing as you imagine the day to come. At the console, the hum of the machine fades into the background, each hour ahead seeming like a final hurdle between you and your health. Time to get started. The thing that it's also doing really quite well is painting that picture of this cycle of work. And I know a lot of people feel like this, a lot of people being stuck at a job, being trapped in a position where you're forced kind of by your financial situation or whatever your job is, that you almost feel like you can't stop. You can't slow down. Your life is what it is. There is no other possible course of action to take. You might get sick. You don't have time to miss work. You don't have time to go to the hospital. You can't think about yourself. You can't afford to think about yourself. This is serving as like a very stark reminder of that unfortunate reality that many of us find ourselves in. All right. What do we have?
Patient ID 3328.
What do we have, 3328?
Involve nausea, irregular appetite, and the dull, constant ache in the abdominal region. Patient reports feeling
Abdominal.
uncomfortably full despite minimal food intake. Physical
Okay.
examination reveals mild erosion in the lower abdominal lining. Subject
Okay.
also describes an unusual, lingering sensation of movement in the stomach, contributing to overall fatigue.
All right. So stomach. Ooh, let's not go there yet. Let's go here. Stomach. Nope. Okay. All right. That's all I need to hear. What is it? What do you got? You got biode slugs? Oh, I actually think that is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Who am I? Is this my calling? Is this my true calling? Discovered in meteorite samples, biode slugs are now common, particularly in the digestive tract where they consume food rather than the host's tissue. Indigestion, nausea, fatigue, variable appetite, vitamin deficiencies, general ache. Okay, I think this is it, right? So biode slugs, I'm gonna confirm here. Just make sure. Gotta be, oh yeah, gotta be. Don't need to hear that anymore. It's making me queasy. Diagnose. Your stomach got them biode slugs. Confidence. Diagnosis confirmed. Treatment successful. Another one down. Here we go. Get him in here. Ooh, another note. As the machine clicks through the initial diagnostic stages, something moves beneath it. A slip of paper sliding out from under the console. Just at the edge of your vision, you pause, eyes narrowing as you recall the note from yesterday. Curiosity gets the better of you, and you lean down slightly to get a closer look. It's a note, but something dark streaks across it, smeared and unmistakable. Blood. Your hand freezes, instinct warning you not to touch it. Blood could mean infection. Some parasites are carried this way, and handling it could be risky. But then you hesitate. The pull of curiosity, the lure of another offer stronger than you'd like to admit. And you know you shouldn't touch it. You know the risk. But the potential opportunity is hard to ignore. The thought of escaping this life tugs at you, insistent, drowning out caution with every passing second. Your fingers hover near the bloody note, torn between the rational urge to leave it and the temptation of a life free from everything that's kept you bound. Pick up the note, yes or no. We already accepted the first offer. I think we're going to keep going down that road. We're going to accept it. We're going to pick it up. You reach down and pick up the blood-smeared note, feeling a thrill as you unfold it. The message is brief but potent. 50,000 credits for a phytozoa diagnosis? I really need this, please. I refuse to die. Your heart skips as you read it again, the number searing itself into your mind. 50,000 sounds absurd if we just got 10, and 10 was a life-changing amount of money. 50,000 credits. It's more than you ever imagined having. More than enough for treatment and for freedom. A life where each breath isn't a counted cost, where survival isn't a debt hanging over you. You think of the things you could do with that money. Real food, clean clothes, a life with room to breathe. The possibilities rush over you. A glimmer of the life you've always dreamed of, just waiting at the end of this decision. You slip the note away, tucking it with a sense of triumph as the machine hums on, carrying out its task. Tomorrow, everything changes. Phytozoa. And the thing about it is, if we're going to be realistic, obviously we're playing a game here, but there's no way you can, in this type of environment, there's no way I could get away with having barely enough money to survive, and then all of a sudden I'm 60,000 credits richer in 2 days. Like, surely whoever is controlling me and controlling this world is seeing my income, right? Like, they know what's going on. But you know what? We ball, baby. So let's see.
Patient ID 3745. Subject exhibits severe fatigue and pronounced weakness.
You know, I don't even need to know, because I'm going to go fight a Zoa. I'm getting that money. I'm about that money. So we got some Phytozoa up in the lungs. Yep. There's a nagging unease in your chest, but the thought of freedom and control presses harder, quieting any doubts. The machine completes its maintenance, and you prepare to move forward, the weight of both risk and reward still pulsing in your mind. As you wait for the next patient, an alert pings on your console, breaking the monotony. You glance at the message, surprised. Appointment canceled. Patient deceased. Half-day dismissal granted. The words sink in, and a strange mix of relief and frustration floods over you. It's an unexpected break, but then the follow-up notification seals any sense of triumph. Vacation time applied for half-day deduction. You let out a quiet sigh. Damn, they ain't even sending us home for a half day. They say, oh yeah, go ahead, no work, but it's coming out of your PTO, buddy. You shut down the machine and make your way back to your room. Although it's early, you decide to head to bed since you have nothing better to do. You lay down on the thin mattress, letting the quiet of the room lull you to sleep. Day 4. You wake up feeling worse than usual, the familiar tightness in your chest sharper, more insistent. Your breath comes in shallow, ragged pulls, and a faint unease settles over you. But as you check your account, the credits appear. It's finally enough. In fact, it's more than enough. You're rich. Ignoring the discomfort, you put in the request for treatment and make your way to the medical bay, hoping that soon all of this will be behind you. You step into the medical bay lobby, greeted by the harsh glare of fluorescent lights. Taking a slip with your number, you sit among the empty chairs, the sterile scent filling the air. After a tense wait, your number echoes over the speaker, calling you forward to the diagnostic machine looming ahead, silent and ready. So are we not the only person here? Like, this is our job, right? We're about to go get diagnosed by somebody else? Like, how many wings, how many people do this? What if they get it wrong? Oh my God, there's so many questions. When you settle into the patient's seat, you feel a strange disorientation. You've spent so many days diagnosing others, yet here you are, on the other side, waiting for the same judgment to come down on you. The unfamiliarity of it all gnaws at you, though a part of you dares to feel hopeful, convinced this will be the day you finally rid yourself of this burden. The machine begins its scan, clicking and whirring. You find yourself counting each breath, patiently waiting for relief. The screen flashes, flickering for a second before locking in one word in cold, unfeeling text. Molded. That's not what we have. That's not what we have. Oh no. The air seems to drop, a weight pressing down as the realization sinks in. You feel the world go still. That single word glowing on the screen with a finality that pierces deeper than any diagnosis before. A shiver runs through you. This isn't a cure. This is a sentence. How did this happen? Suddenly, the machine whirs to life, mechanical arms pressing firmly against your shoulders, guiding you forward towards the treatment chamber. The ground beneath feels as if it's falling away, leaving you suspended in a numb, frozen shock. Accept your fate. Oh no. Was it just immediate termination? I think molded is one of the more severe ones that we have, and it's like super contagious, I think. It's all over. You stand in the chamber, your final destination, the weight of it pressing down harder than the tightness in your chest. You'd worked so hard, clung to each day with the hope that you'd finally escape this cycle. Oh man, look at that. We're full of these parasites. And I don't know if this is probably meant to be more symbolic than literal. Wow. Wow. As your treatment begins, a quiet understanding settles over you. Not every path to freedom looks the same. End C. Wow. Dude, that was so good. That was so good. I have to get the rest of these endings. All right, so this is the start of day 3, and we did not take the money. As you pull on your uniform, that nagging thought from yesterday creeps in again. The missed opportunity, the extra money that could have made life here a little less relentless. It settles in like a weight in your chest, heavy enough that even the idea of eating turns your stomach. You glance at the plain breakfast rations waiting in the corner, but you're not in the mood. Back to work. Okay, back to work like normal. So we should be getting another note here. The bloody one. All right, the note. Yes, 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 we know about it. Pick up the note. No, because I'm a good little boy. You pull your hand back, feeling a prickle of unease as you look down at the blood-streaked note. Everything in you screams that this is wrong, that it's not worth the risk. You don't want to risk infection, not when the stakes are this high. You know that some parasites spread through blood, and the thought of picking up the note leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's too much, too dangerous, and you already know the impact of letting seriously infected patients walk free. One decision has already pushed your boundaries. You don't need another weighing on your conscience. With a final glance at the note, you turn away, choosing not to risk it, not to acknowledge it. You shift your focus back to the console, hands moving instinctively. All right. Let's see what that does for us. Let's clean these patients up. Very slow heartbeat in this guy. I just remembered I actually never diagnosed this guy. I don't know what he has. Isn't that molded? You can have molded in the brain? That is molded, right? Yeah, molded in the brain. And he had a very slow heartbeat too. That was kind of interesting. That's like one of the more complex ones that we've had. So his brain is molded. The machine hums steadily as it finalizes the diagnosis. Molded. You sit back, watching the screen as the results confirm what you suspected. A strange calm settles over you, knowing you did the right thing, that you chose correctly for both yourself and for the patient. Your mind drifts back to the blood-streaked note, to the uneasy feeling you'd had about it. It's clear now that ignoring it was the right choice. That risk, the blood, the unknown infection it could carry, wasn't worth any amount of credits. Relief settles over you, quiet but solid, grounding you as the machine cycles through its final stages. The temptation of those extra credits, the thought of an easier future, is something you almost can't believe you considered now. You focus back on the hum of the machine, feeling the weight of the decision lift as you prepare to move forward. No shortcuts, no risk, just the survival that you've earned. As you wait for the next patient, an alert pings on the console, breaking the monotony. You glance at the message. Okay, and patient deceased, so we get a half day on our own PTO. Shut down the machine and go back to your room. We decide to go to sleep. Day 4. So what's day 4 going to be like if we don't have enough money to live? You wake before the familiar siren of the morning alarm has a chance to play. It's payday. Checking your account, you notice a credit deposit from a successful week's work. Modest, as always, but earned honestly. It's not enough to cover treatment, not yet, but even so, a faint hope stirs within you. As you move through your morning routine, you feel a sense of calm settle over you. The phytozoa tugs at your chest with its usual ache, a constant reminder of what you're fighting for. But this morning, the weight of it feels lighter, somehow, softened by a sense of purpose. You've held to your choices, taken no shortcuts, and something about that steadies you. Despite the long, grinding days and the countless hurdles, you feel as though you're inching closer to something better. Your path forward remains uncertain and slow, each day barely bringing you closer to the hope you cling to. But even as you count the small earnings and feel the weight of each unpaid treatment slip, there's a satisfaction rooted deep in your core. You've held on to something that money can't buy, and that this cold, merciless place has failed to take from you: your sense of right and wrong. Oh, look at the art. That's cool. You could have given in, taken the easy way, but every choice you made was yours alone. And while the journey ahead may still be long and unforgiving, you feel a quiet strength in knowing you've preserved the parts of yourself that truly matter. In a world so eager to break you, you've stayed whole, inch by inch, day by day, resilient and unwavering. You're ready to start again, to carve your path forward with purpose, knowing that every choice, no matter how small, is a testament to the strength they could never take from you. Ending B. Nice. So that was like the straight-laced one. We stayed true to ourselves. I really like that ending. I thought that was going to be like a goody two-shoes ending, like a company man ending, you know, where you didn't take the opportunities before you, but they kind of spun it in a really positive way. You stayed true to yourself in such a rugged, messed up future, this world where no one cares about you and morals are obviously cast aside in a lot of aspects of your life. You held your moral high ground and you held yourself to a standard that you believed in until the very end. No matter what the environment threw at you, you persevered as who you wanted to be. I like that. I like how they portrayed that ending. All right, so we got B, we got C, and I have a feeling I know what A is. And what I believe will be our last ending, maybe last ending, I don't know, we'll talk about it in a minute. But there is a world amongst this dystopian hellscape in which we did not go to medical school. A world in which we simply do not care what happens to these poor people. A world where everyone, and I mean everyone, has corkworms in their eyeballs. Diagnosis unsuccessful. Patient outcome deceased. Oh no. Oh, new patient. You know what? You can tell by the shape of the eye socket here if you look really closely. You see that? Zoom in on that. Zoom out. Zoom back in just a little bit right there. Okay, now zoom back out. That is what corkworms in the eyeballs look like. Yep, so, oh man, another diagnosis unsuccessful. That is not good. I believe it's 3 strikes, you're out here in this unforgiving environment. But as fate would have it, luck is on our side because this guy has corkworms in his eyeballs. You guessed it. The final alert blinks on your console. Termination, effective immediately. The words land heavily, each letter sinking in with a weight that feels impossible to bear. 3 mistakes, and now it's over. Hours later, you find yourself on the street, the chill of the night settling deep into your bones. Without credits, without work, the city seems harsher, less forgiving. You sit down, staring into the empty streets, the realization pressing down on you. This is it. The life you fought so hard to hold on to has slipped away. Man, look at this architecture too. This is such a cool like cityscape with these huge like foreboding veinous clouds looming in the air. A quiet sorrow fills you, a bitter sense of finality. You tried, you endured, but in the end, it wasn't enough. And here, beneath the indifferent glow of the city lights, you accept that some battles can't be won. Ending D. It's not the last ending. There's an A. There's an A out there somewhere. Oh no. What am I missing? Ooh, I know what I'm missing. I perhaps know what I'm missing. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Let me cook. Let me cook. Okay, so I'm back on day 2. The only things that I can think of that I haven't done, there's 2 notes that we have the option of collecting throughout this. Now, I've done a playthrough with collecting both the notes, and I've done a playthrough denying both the notes, but what if we do one instead of the other? So the first note, the 10,000 credits for the corkworm, I'm going to do. And then I'm going to deny the next one, see what that does. So corkworm is what this guy is going to have in his lungs. Lung corkworm. Okay, 5,000 credits transferred to us. And we'll go from there. Now, when we get to the bloody note, I will deny that, and we'll see if that changes anything at the end of the game. Okay, day 4. We did not take the note. We did take the original one for the 10,000 credits. We did not take the $50,000 blood-soaked one. You wake up with a sense of anticipation you can't quite place. As soon as you check your account, it becomes clear. Credits received. The number stares back at you, a sum you've been waiting for, barely daring to believe would come. It's finally enough. Without a second thought, you put in the request for treatment and set off for the medical bay. Oh no, is it the same? It's what we did last time. You step into the medical bay lobby, greeted by the harsh glare of fluorescent lights. Taking a slip with your number, you sit among the empty chairs. This is the same. Uh-oh, maybe this isn't the ending. As you settle into the patient's seat, a strange sense of vulnerability washes over you. Sitting there on the other side of this machine, you feel like a stranger in your own world, as though the roles have shifted in a way you hadn't anticipated. The machine begins its scan, clicking and whirring. You find yourself counting each breath, patiently waiting for relief. After all the years of diagnosing others, it's your turn to be seen, to be helped. You've spent so long surviving day by day that the relief, the possibility of health feels almost foreign. This is different. I think this dialogue's different. It is different. Cool. It's Phytozoa. This game. Oh, wait a second. All right, we'll talk about it at the end. The scan confirms what you knew all along. Phytozoa. Simple, treatable, something that felt like a mountain until today. Suddenly, the machine whirs to life. Mechanical arms pressing firmly against your shoulders, guiding you forward towards the treatment chamber. It's finally time to be rid of this wretched illness. Enter the chamber. God. Relief floods you, tempered by a sensation that almost feels like happiness. It's fragile, tentative, this feeling. You don't quite know how to hold it, as though hope is something you might accidentally break if you grip too tightly. The procedure is brief, and you already feel the weight in your chest lifting, each breath lighter, free of the constant ache you'd grown used to. And the parasites are kind of like dissipating here in the art. Wow. When you return to work, satisfaction thrums in your chest. The pain, the dread, it's all gone. For the first time in so long, you feel alive, fully and unmistakably. You know that you didn't make a righteous choice, and yet, as you move with this newfound vitality, you can't help but feel a thrill. Survival demanded something from you that you never thought you'd give, but the reward is undeniable. The sacrifice lingers at the edges of your mind, yet it feels small compared to the sheer relief of finally being free of illness. You may be here a long time still, and you know the cost of that freedom has changed you. But right now, that doesn't matter. At the console, you feel stronger, healthier, ready to take on whatever this grim world brings. The life you've secured for yourself feels worth it, even if you had to bend to get here. Today, it's enough to simply be alive, vibrant, and whole. Ending A. A, B, C, D. So 4 endings? I almost didn't even understand why that ending was different. Oh my gosh. Okay. So in that ending, we took the first offer. We bent the morals as we talked about in the explanation there, right? But we did not take the blood-soaked note. Our biggest fear in taking the note was the blood. It's the parasites. They can be transmitted that way. That's why whenever we made it to the med bay at the I guess it would be like the bad ending where we were molded. We contracted that from taking that note. We got greedy. We got that thrill of getting these credits for kind of bending the rules the first time and wanted more. And we didn't stop where we should have. We didn't quit while we were ahead. And we contracted the deadly parasite that ended up killing us in that ending. So in ending A, the ending we just got, we got the money, we got the treatment, and it was the phytozoa that we thought we had from the beginning. So that to me was the good ending, or at least I guess the best version of the ending. We had to bend the rules. We had to operate in a gray area to get the things done that we needed to get done. But I think in this weird dystopian world, this hellish landscape that we find ourselves in, I feel like that's kind of the name of the game. It's risk versus reward. Obviously, no one's looking out for you, so you got to look out for number one, and that's you. That's yourself. This has been a really, really interesting game. I did not walk into this thinking it was going to be as engrossed, as involved as it was. Lots of endings there, lots of really good storytelling. I was so immersed into the landscape of this factory, of this world that we lived in as a character. The moral dilemmas that we faced on each day were challenging, to say the least, and it really forced me to think kind of as if I was immersed. Like, what would I do if I was in this situation? Excellent, excellent story writing. Cannot speak on that enough. That was really, really fun. I've always wanted to do visual novels on this channel. It's something that I'm probably going to get into in the future. And things like this I find are like a really good segue into that kind of stuff. I believe this would be labeled specifically like an interactive fiction, but these types of games that build their world so vividly, allowing you to get sucked into this environment and really get transported into the world that they're trying to build. I have so much fun with these, and I love doing narration. So if this is something that you enjoyed, something that you liked, please do let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like on the video before you leave. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the game. The link to play it will be in the description down below. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, see ya.